Assalamualaikum. Hi. I'm gonna show you how I use Claude AI. This is the subscribed one. I set up a project. What I'd like to share with you is to answer the question whether Claude AI can really do programming. The answer is yes and no. So before I proceed, let me explain a bit what I mean, but maybe I'd like to show you the app that I've created. Let me see if I can show you right here. The app that I created is on the fly very quickly. It's a very unique concept because this is using metadata. I will explain what's meant by metadata. You can scan it. You can flip if there's more information. So yes, flip cut capabilities. But when you scan it, let me. Oh, it's kind of difficult to get the button, but if you scan it, the button will react. Let me get to, okay, so that is the scan status, which you can do it, which you can do it right here. So you can do all the scanning. I will show you the screen that I use for scanning just now, right here. So the code for scanning is here. So as I scan each one, you will get recorded. I wonder you can see it. It's difficult to get it. I'll get it back. But I'd like to explain about Claude AI or AI GBT in general has a problem. I'll get straight to the problem. It has a hallucination problem, which means that it seems to be going fine for a while, and then it space out. So what do you do? The question is, what do you do? So what I do is you rephrase your question or your prompts, okay? Another thing is you shorten the test so that it does not hallucinate. This is the general plan. Another thing is shorten the test. You request now Claude has a habit of just cutting off the conversation and say your time is or the length is up. So you have to usually save artifacts to the project knowledge. Okay, I'll show you what I mean in a while. And then you have to know how to prompt basically. So the prompt engineering, I'll show you some of the questions. So we'll get straight back to it. So here's Claude. I've been progressing for some time. And so I better share what I know before it gets too much to say heavy. You see, one thing good about it is that it's really, truly remarkable. Did I say that it can program and also know? It can do things that try to go all over the world to get the knowledge which is already in the internet for like 30 years. But so it's just language it, just put it in the proper language. But it cannot really become mathematical. It can't count, okay, because it's a large language model. So I'm going to ask it to present the screen now. So how will I prompt it? Can you generate the image of the mobile application, we call it array, which we are doing. So I can present to the audience, okay? So I'll say, please generate the image. Now, I have to instruct it properly. I've done this before. an HTML script will do. We'll say that make it as close as possible to. Actually, I already have the screen. Oh gosh, must I show it to you? Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I already have the screen somewhere here. Yeah, you are. What I've been trying to show you is this. Hang on. Sorry. So, like I was saying, when things get verified, okay, and when you flip the thing, so I can get this to flip. Oh, it was not showing. I was troubleshooting. Now it can flip, and I put in. I also asked it to put in, like, say, help button, because it was cluttering the screen. If you press it, it will pop out information, and all this is obtained through the JSON. Let me show you the JSON. Here's the JSON. So the JSON here, you see, is metadata dynamic, meaning that the help comes from the JSON data. You need not program it into the mobile app, okay? And then the layout, you see the layout called a flippable QR checklist field is pre-coded on the mobile. Let me show you on the Visual Studio Code. Okay, so the way it does it, you will find no implementation information in the code. This is what is meant by metadata, which is data about data. For example, let's say menu, windows, you know, when in an app, you will have tabs, you will have fields, you have table and columns, right? You did not have this inside your code. It's in data. This is a concept that we follow from the application dictionary concept of originally from compare, which then forked to Ampere, headed by yours truly, and finally it becomes Ampere, which I'm not active there anymore, but I'm blown away by AI, and AI could understand all this. I give it a prompt, and it will generate metadata, which is in the JSON format. Why JSON? Because the backend, it can be Oracle, SAP, and in my case, IDMP, or any Excel or any application. What it has to do is just to produce JSON, easily done. AI will do it. So this data will come into the application, and the application will display it as if it's been programmed into the application, but actually it's not programmed the application. The code just take the data and this, which determines what to print out. If it's a scan, QR scan, you just come out with a button to QR scan and the QR scan capability with all the flip cards. If it is a site information, let me see you, show you. If it's a site information, that's it. You see that, oh, it's where's the site information. It's been, let me give you a screenshot and share it so that I'll get to you in a while. Okay, so I got it there. Here, so you see this site information is not programmed into the application because the metadata says so. Let me show you where the metadata says so. You can see at the top, it says site information, see? But it has a component name called text field. So when it's defining a text field, you will show a text field. And if you were to press this button, it will display the help, complete the site information. Let me show you that. I have to capture again. Okay, we'll capture, here you are, share it. Hang on, let me share to get you to understand the concept. Okay, I put it there. And it's easy to run. I'm using React Expo Developer. So you see, the site information appears. Enter the full name of identifier. This is not in the code. This is not in the application. It is dynamic, depend on the metadata. This is a smart concept, not by me. I told you it's from the application dictionary, from compare, idempier. So you see, any help key that you press, it will present this. You need not hard code it. So if you want to change a look and feel or the text that appear, you put it in metadata, which is easier to control. That means your application, your code remains as stable as possible. You do not introduce bugs into it. Okay, so this is how you do the crowd click and all this code is made by Claude AI, but it took me like 3 or 4 days now because it keep hallucinating. I have to keep saving this code into the Claude project. Let me show you how much I save it. So sometimes I have to save complete classes here. This is the complete class, the TSX. I do not know Python. I'm good in Java. I understand ERP, but I'm new to Python, consider novice. So I have to save certain fields because I have to ask it. But I also save roadmaps. Okay, ask it to sort of summarize everything that is being doing into a roadmap so that the prompts will read the roadmap to know what to do next. Otherwise, you hallucinate again. Because if you ask the AI to do something, it knows generally how to do a React program of this sort. But if you have to ask it to do again, it does not necessarily go line for line. Certain elements may go, for example, a different structure previously, but now they seems to know where's the structure. But sometimes they will go and create their own substructure because it goes in the internet, it remembers all the React projects in the world. Not all projects are the same. Okay, some things will be tweaked a bit. So you do not want it to be inconsistent. You do not want it to lose track to exactly remember. Just like producing a film using AI, the character changes. You cannot have a 1 hour premiere. I believe AI is not reached. It can do maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and that takes a lot of effort, right? To make it say, keep the character, keep the scenario, keep everything the same is a big effort. It can hallucinate. So we have to go to this strategy. You have to post things like this so that it don't keep, because there are different versions. There are many different versions. It may import different things. Okay, so this is important. Roadmap is important. Let me show you how I even asked it to do marketing for me, and it's just wonderful. Let me show you what it could have done. You see, it is very, see, it does marketing here. I tell it to give a proposal. It will do that on the fly. See, give Excel based, right? Okay, prepare a scenario with for building information modeling. This for engineering. Actually, I'm trying to develop it for an engineering application, but it will be ERP in general. For Power BI dashboard, it knows all about that. But to focus and stay on the track, that's the problem for the AI. Look, wonderful, but you ask it to regenerate this again, it may change 1 or 2 details, and that's not what we want. Okay, let me show you some um, stuff that I published. Hang on here. That um, I think I published some. Look here. Um, gee, page not found. Huh, that's impossible. Okay. And then I could post it. Okay, in my. Let me get back to the screen. I have a submit button, and by the way, you can see you will get the GPS information that's standard. It has a metadata server. I'll show you the server. The server is here. So this server, again, generated within a minute. That's that I want to serve the JSON. Okay, can do it. And then you store the JSON here, as I said. And the GUI project will is where my code is. It will talk to the database. So let me kill this thing first. This is the metadata server. So to run the metadata server, we say script start metadata server. It takes some troubleshooting for a few minutes before I get up. There's even a test code for that. If you have a test, okay, test the server, you say that it's healthy, okay. You give you example, it says it's listening. Is it up? Testing window is there, healthy status, right? So these type of things you can just do on the fly, okay? And now I come to the main. I'm using Expo, so you could just start clear, Expo start. Uh, this is Expo Dev DEV because you need to work with native. It breaks certain things, so you have to key in this URL here, and then it comes up like I was able to show here. So I'm going to show the scanning where it managed to scan, and where you can also flip the pages. Okay, so here, let me flip. Okay, I'll just show one that you will flip. Okay, I'll just show one that will flip and share it. And there's a submit button, and this submit button, which it does very well, it has some problem because of the sharing through Expo Rate Native, but finally I got it to work. And what I'm saying is that it can submit to email, WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, where the text, like I shown earlier, and the let me show you where the text, as was shown here, this text was verified and pending or not verified, together with a photograph of the site. If you want to tested it, but I've not put it in this particular one, which is running metadata, and submit it to the email. Now, why the email? Okay, I'll show you the picture. The good thing is that I make it non-clutter, where if there are more pages here, as in the JSON, you can see here in the JSON, there's more information, and I could only cram 2 items here. What about all this? I've made it dynamic again. You can have lots of information. You just flip the card, okay? Just like it's shown here. You just keep pressing here. It's the second page, 1, 2, 3, 4, until you finish all the information. So the one who's using it could see all the detailed information meant to be sent to him from the JSON. So you could make the JSON very short if you do not want the user to see anything. You flip it, and then it comes back to here. If you scan it, it will turn green, or not, your nice little round thing, and the background light will turn blue. Otherwise, it just remain pale yellow or beige. Okay, and then you press submit. You can send to the email. Let me press submit and show it to you. Okay, yes, submit. Okay, let me take this screen and share it and show you that it can share to any item. Now, this Claude AI gave the script very well, no hassle. But like I said, it dreams, it hallucinates when here you are. See, it will share all the text to any of this. easily. So this is fantastic from Claude. Okay, so from Claude AI, um, um, it does this code very fast. But you, from last year, this is better. Expo dev is very good. Let me show you where's the Expo dev. Here's my Expo dev. So having an Expo dev, you send a bill. Of course, you're given about 30 bills per um, month, and this a bill I've done, and then you can just download it, the artifact, and you deploy it. You give the APK, it's an installer, and you just give it to your audience easily. So running the Gradleo, all the dependencies is solved by this Expo. You can find out about it more. And so, okay, now look here. This is one of the very nice way it produce out whatever information you want. I could make it produce guides easily. Let me show you one. Okay, this stuff is easy. I make it generate an artifact. Where is it? Where is it? Now, it cannot have too long a conversation. It will just stop abruptly. You will end up losing memory. That's the only limitation. It's very good, shallow, but if you want to go deep, you got to know when to get out. Okay, so a few times it does not give warning that you are entering your last chat. It just loses its mind or something. Maybe I've been pushing it too much. Now, where's the deployment guide? App release note, dashboard. How do I send it to you? So, oh, I wrote the deployment guide somewhere. It's not showing. Oh, I missed it. Scroll too fast. Okay, I'm using. Let me look at my prompt. I right click them. Okay. How do we ask publish for force? How to open source? See, it gives everything you need to know. Everything you need to know. The force release checklist. Okay. Where is the guide? Do you check out where you have to subscribe? No. So everything I need to know is Google on steroids. Okay, it's not here. Let me look for another one. Deployment guide, storage solution, and deployment, and share workflow limitation. I did ask it to make a guide. Tell you what, I'll just make it do generate a user guide for a GUI based on what we have done thus far. Keep it technical. No marketing stuff. I already got a marketing, no marketing stuff. With cheat, should I cheat it with FAQ and troubleshooting. Right. Okay. Let's see. So this one is really good at. Okay, you can take from the code, from what it sees, and you understand what is to be done, you will do it. But if you ask you to do it again, you may rearrange these things, and that's what we cannot have. It is brittle. That breaks continuity, and this is important in programming with any GPT. Continuity, just like you are making a video or Premiere. Okay, so you cannot make it do the same thing exactly. This what I meant. Okay, now the cool thing is Claude AI, I do not use ChatGPT. I have a Claude coming out. There are mixed reviews. It is still saying Claude AI is the best for program. I don't use the desktop. I don't use the RAG. I don't use going up to the API. It will be a bit costly. And I don't really know how to set it up. I don't have the patience to set it up. And this is really working on the fly. It's good enough. It's only $20 per month. I stopped for a while when I didn't have anything to do, and now I resumed back. I've been using it last year. Hallucinating was bad. This time it's a bit better. It looks more crisp and it has more goodies around. So this basically wrap up my experience of using Claude AI in particular, doing a React a project, which I know nothing about Python. I'm an Eclipse guy. So, okay, another trick is if you were to ask it to generate a code, here's one way to, to do it is first you ask it to give you a bash script to create the folders from your project root, okay, to create um, all the folders, all these attendant files, and some of the artifacts, but not too much to avoid hallucinating. And to give the main code, let me show you. The main code is the main code. The main code is the app.js and TSX. This is the main code. This is the longest. Usually, I keep it for last. I do not ask you to generate this. I just ask it generate the structure with a batch. You know what's a batch file? The batch file will be something like this. At the project root, you have a batch file to ask it to create the whole project minus the app.tsx because that's very long and it can screw up because you need to continue and you screw up. For example, setup script. Okay, here's a setup. Let me open it. So you see what I mean? When you, it will make sure you are in the root and it broke. So it was just continuing, okay? You set up all the dependent files. Let me show you, okay? Make sure you're in the project, you write the JSON in, blah, blah, blah. Install all the dependency. Because we are using Expo, now it's kind of trouble-free. And then I leave it for the last part, which is the TSX. Or do we set up screen, set up again? I'm not sure which one. Let me have a look again. Here, Sarah never pause. This is another old project, not relevant this, but you get the idea. Make a bash script. So, this is the JSON. So let me see the okay, this has been generated. Then I can publish it. I can copy to the project. I can save as a PDF. Let me do that. Okay, see, you can save it. It's not really well aligned. Maybe you save it as a markdown and save it elsewhere. I think you can have copy, download as a markdown. But when you publish it, it's rather cool. You can give it to anyone. So the link is copy. Let me do that. Copy the link. And it's published. So you see you have a technical user guide. All done within as we speak. Imagine those days I used to take 2-3 days to write. Of course, I enjoy it, and you are more in touch with what you're doing. This one, yes, you are a bit high level, but being a subject matter person, it doesn't matter. And there are times, Pareto principle, 20% of the time, you go and really study. So the use system architecture, look at this, the metadata, where the external JSON is divided from the app. And in future, we're going to go to the backend, but I asked it not to give technical, and not to give marketing information. Okay, you give the interface with the level, meta conversion layer, prerequisite, okay, quick setup, the code. Oh, running the code. See, it's hallucinating, but it's giving you a bit very well done, but not in the menu of what you're asking, but it's good. What is it? A technical user guide. Okay, it's for developer. Okay, listening at verbatim to what you're saying. So this is good. You tell you technically how the code How do you install it? You can look at this, use this in your in your project artifact, and ask it to produce the batch script for this. So this is giving enough information, because these are common information for React project, for Google to know, for AI to know. These are, it generates this information easily because it's always recurring in the parameters in the LLM. Okay, these type of things. This is easy. Okay, so few components, basic text input of the JSON, the QR code field, the list field, the camera field. I've no idea how it does it with GBS tagging. So I can revisit by saying that let me use the camera field to be activated. I deactivate it while testing. To activate is always up there somewhere as a standard feature of this, unless the JSON say no camera. So I can push this to the metadata to control your phone instead of changing the code. That's the whole idea of the metadata separation of concern, right? So this is the main takeaway from this project, philosophically wise, is the metadata separation. I hope you'll understand what I'm saying here. I'm trying to pack a bit too much into here. There's something technical for a person to take back. There's something about cloud AI for someone who's studying AI, suitability to do programming to take back. But there's something very high level, the metadata separation. Okay, so that's it from me here. I'm keep it as short it can be. I may show you when I proceed to do the next thing. Let me end up by saying that I'm going to ask you something very philosophical. The next thing, and this how I'm going to prompt. I said, do not generate any artifacts yet, because you'll keep generating things, running off. But just discuss the, not to say possibility, the best way to do this. Okay. I like the camera and the GPS, how to say, artifacts, confuse you, okay, features in the app to be also metadata driven. Yeah. Yeah. So that the I call it the backend. Okay, the backend determines the features and avoid the app needing to change its code to do so. Um, I like features such as the camera. Can you do a review? Yeah. Can you review what features, how far any features on it that can be relegated to this? Of course, you can advise against any overkill, or I'll just say, just don't overkill. Just don't overkill. Just don't overkill. Be practical, so that be. All right, I'll just leave it at that, and let's see what he does. Okay. So this is why I really love it. Is the big questions to decide how the architecture of a software will go. Okay, so that's my approach. You know, I believe some programmers will just solve simple small tasks, but not this. Is more planning a large project, because finally I'm going to go and talk to the backend, the BIM. That's what the ERP is. I have very nice documents, but I do not know, they are all over the place and they're stored in a markdown concept. So here is, let's see what it says. You search the metadata, this is how it thinks. You will search BIM. Okay, that's got software. Because finally, the ERP is going to use the phone to do things like picking lace, putting away in a warehouse, checking for delivery. It can be like a Grab, Panda food kind of thing where you send food and it will do something like that, but with hardly any programming. It's all JSON driven, maybe a kind of a heavy client that will interpret all these different metadata, always separate it according to domain. Okay. They want to be recognizable, should determine value features to avoid, they're interested in meta-driven, avoid redundant artifact using project knowledge. Yeah, that was in my standing instructions. I should search a project. Let me show you my standing instructions. Okay. Here's my, you see, all the good stuff. Here's my standing instructions, right? Always refer project knowledge whenever the artifacts are updated to avoid overriding, avoid redundant artifact generating, discuss first when instructed, because it keep on generating. Okay, you start with a prototype points here and then a proof of concept, and then incrementally enhance is very important. I've been showing earlier, you do slowly, step by step, because you're very focused, you don't ask you to do too much, you just hallucinate. Beware of change management, it breaks things. Okay? Is a robot, a new robot, that if you ask it to do certain thing, ask it to take baby steps first. And then when you're sure, go ahead, do your backup. That's why I did the folder backup earlier. So it search the project knowledge, and then it say already excellent foundation because it reassess, and then yeah, let me discuss. Here's already demonstrate field data. We have QR scan, OCR assist, auto from GPS, location aware form delivery, camera features, conditional logic, FC property mapping, COBE export configuration. This is not done. This is just in a document defining it. I've not even got to that territory. I'm trying to get this app completely meta driven. So I tried to decide it early. I could do it later because a camera is kind of a separate component. It's not really locked into all this in the back end. That should be the big question that you should be asking it. How would I, in a scenario, I'll begin to ask that next. Okay, so it gives this high value, low risk camera behavior control. Let templates define, it agrees. GPS precision level, backend again control, form validation, server driven for captured media, UI component visibility, hide show camera button, let it be controlled. Medium complexity opportunities, discuss complexity, that's good. Smart photo, some this a bit, that's why I told you not to overkill. If variance detected, require 3 photos minimum. Smart. Avoid over engineering, core camera, basic UI. You see, important to prompt it properly. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to ask it another big question. Okay. Knowing that such a GUI metadata application can be applied to, i.e., the warehouse where picking, you have to know your subject, put away the list, can be pulled from the metadata server, ERP handle, yeah, where some operations can be diverse, such as confirming. Actually, this was already stated, that confirming a stock, checking details of stock of a product, opening of a stock, its location, etc. Suggest type of components for the QR scan. Do not generate any. It can really generate, as you can see, yet. Suggest type of functional QR. Okay, suggestions must be practical, real life usage. Not over imagined. That's it. See, you got the general idea, and it can home in, gather from the wisdom of the internet, and go for practical solution that you want. We already know about it. We can go at it, but you can now be lazy. It comes up with the suggestion. You make it into specs, and then you direct it to begin coding it separately. Okay. So see, asset verify, location verify, quantity. I already suggest that, but I already suggest picking, put away, stock count. It already has the continuous scan that I've shown. Counting with running totals, okay. Test complete, scan, please print out. Okay, I'm gonna ask it to suggest while on the field in engineering projects. Okay, cool down to prevent accidental double scan, single shot module. Okay, please suggest further for BIM usage that the industry, that the I'll call it facility management, and I think we call it construction industry may find useful. Let's say I may put stronger language into it, but I'm gonna just use simple. But again, prompt engineering is very important. Make it do not generate artifacts because you go on wasting its memory. So BIM construction is actually my actual immediate client. I've been from the ERP backend, but BIM 10 dimension, if you know about it, you're an engineer, you know that ERP is very relevant because of costing. ERP provides financial integration. So yeah, BIM verify, scan asset, handover, okay. Construction milestone, scan work package QR. I'm not actually scan inspection location. I'm more of giving pictures. All right, that's okay. Scan assets, scan equipment, scan filling equipment, operation maintenance. These are stuff that they do. I'm not fully aware. I'm asking it because he knows. Model comparison, change order tracker. This will be marvelous to the backend engineers. But I, being a programmer, I know it's a headache to get features in a nice package. Okay. Watch iTwin integration, cloud-based. This is interesting because they scan the 3D model and they will have an augmented reality. And how would they know something is done or not? You see? So I've seen the scenario. Someone showed me that Kobe generation from accumulated scan data. Um, you triggered an idea there where I was shown augmented reality twinning to detect projected estimate completion against reality, where the inspecting engineer is supposed to note down the discrepancy. How can our app assist in that? I know it has to be down to earth and practical, that the user can find useful. It need not be how to say it need not be complex, as you've seen how we did the app or the earlier one, if it's not in memory, but the earlier one, which is just shoot and forget, submit to any backend format, leave it to the server to join. Okay, let's see. This is a specific thing, so that's why field research, subject matter, meeting people who are users, they give you a scenario which I just described. Let's see how the AI, which has all the Google knowledge, has known this such a situation, it is in its memory. So he said, perfect. I see the practical application instead of complex AR overlay. Let's create simple reality check, prevent shoot and forget style. Okay, again, you have to fine tune it, but basically, I'm looking for, this should be somewhere complete by today. Scan QR, take photo, simple camera with timestamp, slider for actual or tap behind on track slider. Compare photo, good idea. No AR computer, just smart backend. Display expected progress. Show display expected progress. Capture current photo. Input actual percentage. Optional voice note. Submit to server. Sounds good. And that's the component QR progress reality. I will now take it next week, to meet the BIM team and brush this off them, and then again interrogate the AI. So this is how Claude AI, a typical GPT, is really useful in very expensive work, mind you. We have the opportunity because I'm going to finally integrate MS Project, which is largely used, Primavera, largely used by engineers to BIM specs or compliance, you say, or model, because which is how a building should have its properties defined, its quality, its standards, and then to ERP, because ERP has the costing, has a financial, when you're calculating a rollout or a delay, the impact, the risk, this is the missing part, and it is something very, oh, okay, this is something very new. Most engineers just use MS Project. Now they're moving to BIM, where they have to plug in information, usually done by third-party apps. We are doing it using AI to assist, and ERP is something my forte. I already have IDEMPIA ERP at the back end. So we are going to map this in the middle. If it's interesting, you can write to me or give a comment. red1org@gmail.com. I'll just give my email here. Okay. So, and we can collaborate or work together, or you can make some inquiry of any service that you have. All right, then. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.